Milfs Unprotected, Books 17 through 24, 8-pack. Milf Erotica, Breeding Erotica. Written by Tori Westwood. Narrated by Edie Olliver.
The Side Effect. Milfs Unprotected 17. Will it hurt? Hayden asked, sat on the chair of my private office at the clinic. I flicked the needle and looked to the tip as a bead of the vaccine appeared. I'm not gonna lie, it'll hurt. Yellow fever is one of the worst. Oh, fuck. He hushed. Hey, I warned him. He pursed his lips and fell silent. It's not too late to back out, you know. I'd spoken to Hayden before and found him endearing. He had plans to travel, but at 19 I worried he might not be ready for it. I suppose it's not up to me. I'm going, he said. Let's get this over with. I moved to the chair that Hayden sat in and pushed his sleeve up his arm until his bicep was visible. It looked tense, and I followed his arm down to see his white knuckles gripping at the arm of the chair. Relax, I said. I need you to relax, honey, or it might not work. Do you want to do it twice? Hayden let out a breath and his whole body seemed to deflate. The tension in his arm lessened. I wiped a cotton bud of iodine on his upper arm. He took another breath and looked ahead. It'll be over before you know it, I told him. Before he could respond, I put the needle into his arm. He hissed a breath and I pumped the vaccine into his arm. I pulled the needle out and wiped again at the small puncture, then gave him a cotton bud to hold over it. There, I said. That wasn't so hard, was it? That's it. That's it. Geez, it's like the thought of it is more worrying than... He stopped suddenly and I finished off his sentence. Than the actual act, I know. You wouldn't believe the amount of people who say the same. You did good. We had one guy in here who almost screamed the place down before I even gave him the jab. I guess that's one less hurdle between here and Brazil. I looked to Hayden and noticed he hadn't been speaking. His face had lost some of its color. Are there any side effects? He asked. Some, honey, why? You couldn't have told me them before? They're mild, and besides, what's the alternative? Yellow fever is no joke. Hayden stayed quiet, and his hands again gripped at the arm of the chair. I was struck with panic. What is it? Are you okay? I moved above him and peered down, checking his eyes and then his pulse. He stared forward into the opening of my blouse. I wore pretty much whatever I wanted. The clinic was private, and the idea of wearing those god-awful blue scrubs made my skin crawl. What's wrong? I pleaded. I turned to the door and was about to run and find a doctor before Hayden spoke again. I looked to him and saw his eyes nod downwards. His pants had made quite the tent. The second I realized what had happened, I burst out laughing. Mrs. Playfair, he cried. Sorry, honey, I laughed. I really think you should be taking this more seriously. I just didn't know that was a side effect. Well, it clearly is. I was fine before you stuck that in my arm. It isn't an erection maker, Hayden, I can assure you. Then how do you explain this? Hayden nodded down, and I took another look. God, he was big. That was the one thought that was lingering behind just how funny the whole thing was. It'll go down, I told him. But it isn't, and it's kind of hurting. Hurting? He nodded. Let me see, I told him. Mrs. Playfair. I'm a nurse, honey, let me see. I've seen far worse, trust me. It was that small sentence that would be my undoing. I truly believed that I'd be able to look at it from the perspective of a nurse, rather than that of a lust-filled woman who hadn't had sex.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?